gorgeous, I'm the Fairy Voice Mother, and today is going to be the first time I'm checking out Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, unfortunately at the same sort of time as the world is saying goodbye to him. I did actually do a tiny bit of research before this video, which is very unlike me, but I thought I should have a little bit of background context into who he was, and I am really glad I did, because the story is... if they haven't already, I'm sure they're going to make a film about his life because it's crazy. In 1979, he was actually fired from Black Sabbath, and with the help of his manager, Sharon, who later became his wife, they completely managed to rebuild his career, and apparently she just managed to spin everything he did into something cool and metal. Like, for example, there was this press release where they were supposed to set off doves peacefully, and he was drunk, so he bit the head off one by accident.
He just decided to rip its head off.
And rather than make it a tragic, awful thing, Sharon was like, that was the most metal thing on the planet. And so all of these crazy, wild things that he did, Sharon was able to spin it into gold and help keep his career alive until quite literally the very end of his life.
Bubbles! Oh, come on, Sharon. I'm Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness.
And I think it just sounds like the most beautiful romantic metal love story of all time. And so because today is my first introduction as to who Ozzy Osbourne was musically, I thought it was important to go to the very beginning, start where he started. So I'm going to be watching Black Sabbath perform War Pigs in 1970 when Ozzy Osbourne was just 22 years old. Apparently this was at the pinnacle of their rise to fame and success, and these sorts of performances were pivotal in shaping what we know now to be heavy metal. They were extremely, extremely influential, and so I really wanted to see that at the source. So, shall we?
We're going to number now called War Pigs. It's a number 5 new LP. Hope you like it. Thank you.
Oh, he looks so cute and awkward. Just sort of bopping around. Seeing such a visceral physical response to the music before he's even become a part of it himself with his voice. He is so fully immersed. When you hear people say that music is inside of them, that is kind of an embodiment of what that looks like, I think. As soon as you feel those vibrations, you're just transported into your most pure form. It's like superhumaning. I love it. There you go. That's hot. Goodness me. I love the way they lull you in to the vibe in the intro. This like very swirly whirly and everyone's swaying their bob. Then they just throw you out. And you get those eighth notes on the hi-hat. Then the lead vocal is put over the top. So now this feels really normal. This feels like the speed of the song. The real speed of the song is the double time. And that intro now feels really slow, rather than it feeling like the other way round. amazing is like, you're so transported into something much bigger than what this actually is. When you look at it, it sort of looks like, a garage band sort of setup. Hardly anything going on the stage. There's no production. There's no flamethrowers and smoke machines. It almost looks like an album launch of an indie band or something. But the energy is undeniable and palpable, and it's really electrifying in a way that I think defies musical explanation. As I mentioned, they are very tight, and there's loads of really nice things that's going on in his vocal performance technically that I'll mention in a bit as well. But the way that this is making me feel is much more than that. How exciting is it that we're able to travel back in time watching this and feel that fever and thrill of watching something so original? The pioneers of anything don't have to be the most technically impressive or spectacular, because they've got something far more deeper, this intrinsic magic from being bold. And that's what I'm feeling. You can hear really like the Jimi Hendrix in there, which might have been their influence. There's just nothing quite like watching the hazy blur of a voluminous bob. It really does seem like all of the bands that were around at this time were just so very well follically endowed, and it's so beautiful to watch. Where is the hair these days? Where is all the hair? I really like the way this is mixed. Oh, that was a lovely exit of that guitar solo. It really had like a peak and then a gradual sort of cool down as we started to rejoin the rest of the instruments there with the a few times. You can lower your heart rate. Sorry that I just laughed there because I don't know why I thought this, but I thought that there was a cat about to come onto the stage, but it was a cameraman. I see cats. The vocal technique of Ozzy Osbourne is really, really special because he keeps quite a neutral larynx position, which is controlling the tone of the voice, not getting too high and twangy and whiny, and competing with the electric guitar. See the way that he's using a lot of teeth and face shapes akin to this one, and that is doing a really, really good job of keeping his larynx neutral and making sure that he can pronounce all of the vowels anyway. I think the word is sheep. I think I'm assuming that because pigs and sheep are both in a similar category. If you say the word sheep like that with your face, sheep, it pulls your larynx up and it makes that tone a bit higher. But if you go and you do the E sound with your tongue instead, you get this. It's also preventing him from straining his voice as well. And so I always recommend to go narrow with the vowels when you can. But you can't go narrow without lifting this part, because otherwise it will be a bit too dark. So here is a really ideal place to sing loads of stuff, including this. Another thing that I noticed that he has extremely wide nostrils, which are not a coincidence in a singer having a nice vocal quality. Any hole is a goal, vocally speaking. So the more you can maximize these assets, the better. And I know that you've noticed how massive his mouth is as well. Also not a coincidence. Aim to show the good people your uvula, which is the dangly thing mostly. Obviously you can't do it throughout the whole song because you are going to need to shape words.
The scene of priest appears, sinners falling at his knees. Satan sends out hero fire, cast the priest into the fire. This place for all bad sinners. Watch them eating dead rats in the say wherever you go, through black masses people go. Oh Lord, yeah.
I was wondering why it could be that he has two mics there.
Well, Pastor Lolly, it was one mic for the broadcast and another mic, the black mic, for the PA system. And this was essentially to have control over the two different environments, the live room environment and then the settings that would be most optimal for a live broadcast.
And you can see here how good his technique is, whether it's an accident, as in he figured it out by himself, or whether someone taught him. You can see this beautiful textbook use of his tongue here.
Send out your fire, cast the priest into the fire.
Cast the priest into the fire. Fire. So good. He's using his tongue to say that word, fire, instead of his mouth, fire. And so the voice is very, very happy with that. The voice wants to be controlled by the tongue because the tongue is so connected to it. He's got a remarkably high voice actually, which really, really sets male singers apart. And I can tell that he's got naturally a high voice because when he goes for that lower note, da-da-ba-da, it's got that sort of quality to it, a relaxed quality.
Watch me eating dead rats in the...
And that basically means that his vocal folds are probably not very long, meaning that on this note already they're quite slack, meaning that he can't push a lot of pressure into it. Meaning that his high notes sound really, really strong and fabulous because he's able to put a lot of effort up there at the top, which a lot of men wouldn't be able to do if their vocal folds are very long. They can't vibrate all of that mass with a lot of reinforcements, so their higher notes are weaker. Just so flipping cool because it's got so many elements of 60s-ness in it. Like I can hear Jimi Hendrix. I can hear Janis Joplin. But it's something newer. It is so obviously the beginning of a next phase of evolution for popular music. I'm just so thrilled to watch something which is quite apparently a very pivotal moment in music. This is really cool. The distortion that creeps in here occasionally, if you're wondering, is just a result of having this nice, safely narrow environment to produce his voice with a little bit more pressure driven in.
Send out your fire.
Satan sends up your fire. This tiny little bit of grit just naturally creeps into his voice. It drives those tissues above his vocal folds.
Send out.
At times when that pressure is just a little bit too much than what his voice needs to close naturally. The drummer is very bloody good, I must say. God, the amount of things that seem to have been derived from this. Like, that ending sounded exactly like... the Don't Stop Protect Until the Shindig Red Hot Chili Pepper song. I can just hear everything in this, like the blues and rock and roll from which this came, but then, yeah, like the metalness and a lot of the metalness, actually, when you really think about it. It's the metal energy, the full body immersion, the complete disregard of appearances, which must have been so refreshing coming from a time when sort of straight-lace, polished appearances were so valued. There was a real hot streak of rebellion running through the 60s and 70s for a reason, which does seem to happen in history, doesn't it? It's almost as if the more toxic the poison, the necessarily more potent the antidote. Just to witness so much energy and authenticity pour out of them with gay abandon is beautiful, and I am really glad that this is my first impression of Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne, because I can really feel like I can see through him here, even if he was most likely under the influence of some sort of substance of some kind. That doesn't change anything at all about the undeniable fact that music and performance and passion coursed violently through his veins. I think actually sometimes that catalyzes substance use, because people like him probably feel so different to everyone else in society that it's impossible to conform with it, so you might as well go the complete other end. But I'm really glad that he was able to be saved by his wife Sharon, because if this is anything to go by, we got another 55 years of electrifying, magnetic charisma, talent and musical brilliance from Ozzy Osbourne. So yeah, I still haven't found my bloody oracle cards. If you're new here, I like to read an oracle card out at the end of every video, but I still haven't got them, so I have to make up a message for you all instead. My message today is love really does have the power to conquer all. The brightest stars that come to light up our lives can come when we least expect them. It's never a good idea to give up on love and assume you are not part of a constellation of bright stars that you can love and that love you in return. I think the best thing you could possibly do is keep working hard on being who you are. And I say it like that because it is quite difficult to stay authentic in a world that punishes authenticity until other people agree that it's cool and get behind you. But if we have faith that all that is meant to be ours will come to us eventually, we'll be able to settle, look at the world with open eyes, be fearless enough to reject things that truly hold you down and make you feel bad, and just open yourself up to receiving that special kind of handcrafted goodness and love that is designed just for you, that you'll only find if you live as truly you. I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you want to have a little look at the album I made in November, it's in the description. If you're here at the premiere, ginormous premiere hug for you. And if you're here at any other time, a ginormous hug for you and a kiss on the forehead. Mwah, love you loads. Have a beautiful day. Bye. You can see it, can't you? I actually met Sharon Osbourne when I was on X Factor for a very short amount of time, and she was really nice to me. I got a very good vibe, unlike some other people that were in that satanic, evil television program.
You want to rinse out? You want to rinse out? How about taking a rinse?